Welcome to another V-Couragement from Kingdom Companies. You know, a lot of what I've had to do in life is change companies, change organizations, change behaviors. And what I realize is that the biggest struggle I've had is empowering other people to take responsibility for areas that they had not taken responsibility for before. This whole area of empowering other people. It actually comes from a biblical perspective. Moses brings the Israelites out of Egypt. And it says in the Bible that he was wearing himself out. I mean, it depends on the different versions you read, but he was basically wearing himself out. He was going from the very early when the sun was coming up until well after the sun went down, handling the people's issues. And his Midianite, non-Israelite father-in-law, Jethro, comes to him and says, "This that you're doing is wrong. For you will soon wear yourself out, and these people as well." Because when you have to wait in line for a decision maker to make a decision, or you have to wait for it to come from corporate, or you have to wait, you wear the people out that work for you. This decentralization and empowering is critical to successful companies. It's critical to successful organizations, churches, anything. It's critical in families. But the problem with empowering is we sometimes think that empowering is just handing off responsibility to someone. If I've seen one sin greater than another, it is giving somebody the responsibility without the authority, then holding them accountable to it. You can't give people a responsibility without giving them the proper authority. But then just giving them responsibility without and with the proper authority, but without the support because they've never been there before. You don't have somebody learn to do a tightrope walking 100 feet from the ground without a net, because if he falls, he dies. The way they actually do that is they start low to the ground without a net, and they learn how to walk the tightrope. Then as they bring the net higher, they bring the rope higher, they bring a net under them. So if they fall, they don't die. But I asked one guy who actually was at the Barnum Bailey Circus down in Florida, and we got to see them loading up the trains to go to circus. And I asked one guy as I had my kids there, and I said, "How do you know when to take the net away?" And he said, "Well, at first we leave the net and calculate the weight so that if they fall, they actually hit the net first, but they do hit the ground, to remind them that when we take that support away, they're going to be accountable to their expertise up on that rope." Think about that. It's responsibility with the matching authority, with the support they need prior to being able to go out up on the rope. And then finally, it's holding people accountable to them. But it's a system, it's a process. And too many times we give them the responsibility but not the authority. That frustrates people to no end. We give them the responsibility, authority, throw them out there and watch them make huge mistakes. That could destroy people to no end. We give them limited or the wrong support, and we don't hold people accountable after we do that. It's a process of doing all of them. And the greatest encouragement you can give to a follower, to empower them, is to say, "I'm going to hand the baton to you. And when I hand it to you, I'm going to make sure that you understand you've got the authority for it, that you've got it clearly in your hand. And then when you've got it clearly in your hand, I'm going to run with you a little bit just to make sure you understand and the pace that you need to go at. But eventually, it's yours to run, and I'm going to time you on the rest of the race." There are a lot of metaphors that you can use. But I promise you, if you use these in growing up people, you may only have one person reporting to you. And it may not even be that you've got people reporting to you, but they're peers. But help people learn how to handle responsibility with the right authority, with the right support systems, because many times they need to tell you what they need, and then hold them accountable to be able to get the results you want from the responsibilities you've given them. This has been more than just a V-Couragement. It has been a process coaching on how to be able to empower others aligning with God's principles. Thank you for joining us. This has been a V-Couragement from Kingdom Companies.